you will find the best game for you. But not only that, because of this, as much more that you play and use critical match, it will learn from you and easily will recommend you better games.
Keep it nerdy. Keep it nerdy. Keep it real nerdy. Nerdpreneur, you know I love my work. Life's a game, so I'ma take my turn. Nerds deserve to put their passion first, so let them rap a verse so they can all be heard.
Yeah, my nerdy passion basically is drawing.
I'll let you guess, but yeah, D&D. I do a lot of that.
Correct. I'm a breeder of tarantulas, importing tarantulas and some other critters.
I am a harpist. I do mainly Celtic harp, video games, songs from nerdy TV shows.
I am a LARPer. I dress up in funny clothes and pretend to be other people and hit my friends with sticks sometimes.
Welcome to Nerdpreneur, where we have fun conversations with people making money with their nerdy passion. As always, I am joined by my co-host, Frank.
Hello.
And today we have a very special guest. His name is Borja. Welcome to Nerdpreneur.
Thank you. Welcome.
Great to have you on the show. And so, Borja, what is your nerdy passion?
It's TTRPGs.
So, for the layperson who doesn't know what the acronym TTRPGs is, because believe it or not everyone who listens to Nerdpreneur is necessarily a nerd, but a lot of them are. But what does TTRPG stand for?
So it's tabletop RPG games.
So like role-playing games, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, we do a little bit of that, Frank, right?
Oh, just a bit when I have free time.
Yeah. Every free minute of the non-work week probably is consumed with this podcast or
Pretty
tabletop
much.
RPGs.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So as far as like tabletop RPGs, how did you get into tabletop RPGs? Like, when did you start playing them, and like, what is the passion about? What is it that you love?
Well, I think nowadays people start playing TTRPGs because of Stranger Things.
Right.
They
Yes.
see only having this much of a fun with Vecna, and they say that could be interesting. Usually, it used to be before the pandemic a very nerdy thing, and like the lonely guys on the institute just get together and play and do silly voices.
Yeah, like the basement sweaty nerds just
Yeah.
off in the basement, like rolling dice. No one really knows what they're doing, but yeah. I was never that kid. No, actually, I was that kid.
Yeah, never.
All through high school, that was my experience. I was that sweaty nerd, I think. So when did you play your first tabletop RPG? Was it in like high school like me, or did you get into it later in life?
So I think I started playing. It was when I was around 16 years old. 16, 17. I don't remember exactly. And we had this like the nerdiest of the nerds friend. Like everyone knows because he knows all facts about Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, all these kind of things. And he said, "Hey guys, you have to come home and check this Dungeons and Dragons thing." And because I always love fantasy, said, "Okay, let's try what it is." Oh man, and then I fall in love.
So what was your first game like? Was it well done? Was it fun, or was it just kind of put together, scrappy?
I don't remember the game. I remember just having fun with the friends and drinking, and there was a pool, and this is all I remember. So I think it wasn't that good of a game, but we still have fun.
This is in Europe because
you're
allowed to drink, right? And at 16, a lot of
Yeah.
places you're allowed to do that in Europe. Not over here. We are up in Canada. It's at least 19, but you guys down in the Puritan states are.
Yeah, you got to wait till 21 and after you can enlist.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
And
here,
isn't
16,
that interesting? It's interesting that the thing that stood out to you about your first game was the time with your friends. And I think that is such a great segue into what it is that you are on the show to talk about. Would
Because
you mind explaining a little bit of what it is that you're working on right now?
because
Yeah. So
Nerdpreneur, we're not just about nerdy stuff. We're also about businesses, right? And this is about entrepreneurial ventures. And you have one that is a nerdy entrepreneurial venture. Is that correct?
absolutely, 100%.
Well, tell us about
So
it. What is it?
yeah. So well, it's called Critical Match, and if anyone has ever tried to play Dungeons and Dragons, Call of Cthulhu, all these games. Dungeons and Dragons is the most common, so every time I will refer maybe to Dungeons and Dragons, but it's all of them. There is over 1,000. So,
Wow.
so if anyone has ever tried to play these kind of games and find a table, even to start like with Stranger Things, okay, I want to try. Where do I go? Then you read some kind of, I don't know, celebrity online, and they give you like 1,000 options, but it's very hard to go there because there is only like two or three, like on Reddit, and it's very difficult. So Critical Match does exactly that. So Critical Match, what offers you is the opportunity with a few clicks to find the best TTRPG game for you. Even if you're a beginner, if you're looking maybe for a more cyberpunk kind of game or dark or investigation. So you just open the app, go to search, and we will offer you like 5, 6, 10, 20. There is a lot of options. We call it tables. And only swiping, you will join this game. Well, you actually send a request to join.
Uh-huh.
That
You
makes
don't just
sense.
show up in the game. All right.
Yeah.
So
So
is it intentionally a lot like Tinder or dating apps these days? I mean, the name alone is super similar.
So, um, if you go into this kind of forums of RPGs, etc., there is always one post that says someone should invent Tinder for RPG,
Yeah.
and yeah, so this is that. Except you don't match with people, you match with
Hmm.
tables.
Right.
That's
That's good.
That's fascinating. I love the idea of being able to swipe on my games. The Tinder for Nerds, like to find a game. Yeah, I'm in. That sounds like an awesome idea
Yeah, me
because
too.
there's a lot. I mean, the thing I guess about what's nice about Tinder or whatever that is the ability to, in some ways, have a not like a huge level of commitment to like one thing that you spend a lot of time building, right? Like a regular relationship. Like many games, you try and get them off the ground somewhere, and they just all of a sudden fall apart like the day of or 2 days before or
Yeah.
something like
Chris,
that.
Chris,
Whereas
you're really revealing your perspective of Tinder and dating programs. Just
I
like
don't do
I don't want to
Tinder, man.
commit. I don't want to commit to one. I want to like try out a bunch of different ones and see what's available.
I'm just saying I like that I like that you have your tastes in games, right?
Mhm.
Because we're talking about games here. And you can now say like I like my games a little bit more racy. I like them to be a little bit more aggressive or more combat
More
based,
role
let's say.
play.
A little more role play would be great in some of these games, and we're talking about tabletop RPG games
Sure,
when
yeah.
we're talking about this. So this is the thing. I like that idea for many reasons, and I feel like a lot of nerds who want to find games, this would be like a nice one-stop shop solution for them, right? That's kind of the idea. Um,
Yep. And it's amazing that you said that because actually on the app we are developing right now kind of a search system with hashtags.
mm,
So we are these over 1,000 systems that exist, and the tables that people create will have a specific hashtag. And every time you create a table, you can also put your own hashtag.
mm,
We've got some professional DMs that say, "Hey, I want to do like a course of D&D, create your NPC or whatever, and can I put hashtag D&D Academy, for example, and people can go and just, okay, if I join this table, I will learn. Yeah, you can do that. But the most amazing thing is what you said, that you can do, I don't know, hashtag horror, hashtag space. And we will offer all systems, all tables, everything that has these hashtags inside. So you will find the best game for you. But not only that, because of this, as much more that you play and use critical match, it will learn from you and easily will recommend you better games.
That's what I was going to ask is like, what are some of the criteria that I can, so I can search based on the type of game for sure, right? Can I also search based on like how big the game is? Like if I don't want to join like a 10 person game, maybe I want just one that's like 2 or 3 people, small, low, you know, a little bit easier to get into. Or maybe it's the opposite. I want one where I can meet a ton of people. Can I search based on like number of people I play with or
Yeah.
other criteria like that?
So you have a lot of filters. So you can easily search by name Dungeons and Dragons, and that's easy, or by hashtags. But you can also choose by filters. You can choose from when do you want to play, which day of the week, the time.
Oh.
Uh, if, for example, is you want to search for a physical table or an online one, and the physical you can search by distance from you. We have matched with Google, so you can actually put your address or maybe search hobby shops to go play there. But also the type of game. If it's a one shot, that means around 3 or 4 sessions. 1 or 2 sessions. If it's an adventure, 1 to 7 months of a game, or a campaign longer. And also by seats. Okay, I just want a maximum of 5 seats, 4 seats, or more than 10. But that's not all. You can also search maybe if you want LGBTIQ plus space. This is also available. There's a games that say, okay, we are not. So we take for granted that all tables are LGBTQ plus friendly. These
Right.
are only space. Like, okay, we promote it, and it's going to be in these kind of NPCs, but also beginners tables, female only tables, or fem only tables. So it's going to be also by language. For example, I'm living in Germany,
That
and
makes
I can
sense. Yeah.
promise you, I will not ever play in German a TTRPG game.
Oh,
It's
wow.
too hard.
Huh. Is that just because the material is primarily in English a lot of the time?
No. Just
German's
because of
just
the
a hard
language.
language, man.
Yes,
It's
Oh,
a
I
very
very
see.
hard
hard
language.
language.
I see what you mean.
They
So
got words like this, and it's like, is that a monster? No, it's hello. Just
Yes.
So I also wanted to ask about this because this sounds like a great opportunity for people who are aspiring or currently employed professional dungeon masters and other game masters. So this sounds like a great opportunity for that. What is your system for people who want to charge for their sessions and their games that they host?
So all games you can create, you can charge per session. Critical Match will never ever, and I can say this right now, take any amount of money of your tables.
Oh,
Will
wow.
be 100% free. Only in the future if we choose that the payment will be through the app, because iOS and Android will charge us these small
Right.
fees. We will charge you also these fees because
yeah.
please. But that's the only thing. We think in Critical Match that we want to promote all these professional DMs. So you will be able right now in the MVP, you will be able to put how much, which system do you, so which if it's a dollar, euro, or whatever, and if you can get payment through PayPal, direct bank account. In the future, because we have talked with a lot of professional DMs, we have things ready like control who has paid the last session and all this kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. Yes, love it. But I really got to know from a business standpoint, how are you guys going to make money?
So uh, so we are going to, it's going to be 100% free app.
Uh-huh.
That means that without paying anything, you will be able to search games, to join games, and a lot of things that we are going to talk later.
Love it.
But if you want to support us, uh, we will create 2 tiers. There is an adventurer and world builder tiers of subscription monthly. The
Mm.
things that it gives you is like on a free tier, you can have up to 5 tables at the same time.
Whoa,
That for
that's a lot.
casual gaming is more than enough.
Totally.
And only it gets better, and because of things that we are going to talk later, also you will have a minimum of amount of megabytes that you can upload to our servers to create your tables, because it's going to be bunch of stuff there. Also, if you're a subscriber, you will get skins for your tables, animations, animated dice, and a lot of amazing things that we hope we can bring in the future. And with the world builder, you will also get your groups that you create, your guilds, up to, I think it's no, I know, I think there is no limit of how many people can join your guilds in the
Wait,
world builder subscriber.
hold on. Guilds?
Yeah. So I'm just curious. Like, so if I'm a pro DM, let's just
Yeah.
say, which I kind of am, but it's like, let's say I'm a pro DM,
Yeah.
and I want to be on your platform and start attracting my own audience. I could create like an epic guild, right, for my
Mhm.
Professor Epic fandom, essentially. And can I put out content that attracts more people to follow my guild, or does it all have to go through? Like, do I build a reputation on your site, or sorry, on your app?
No. So the guild, I think I'm kind of overstepping right now, because I don't know if I think if this is like a hidden stretch goal, but I don't know, whatever. So for you guys,
Okay, well, let's
whatever.
say if it's a stretch goal, that
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
guilds are potentially in the near
Yes.
or medium future.
Yeah. We
Depends how
hope.
much we
Yeah.
can get you on the Kickstarter, right?
Yep.
So everything costs money. So
Yeah. So actually, the building of the guild is the guild, and another thing that we're going to talk in the future is Adventure Journal. So you will have access as a subscriber and also as a free tier, and it's like, so it's very important for us. It's a stretch goal because it's actually like building a second app.
Oh yeah.
And the guilds actually, what you do is, okay, you create your guild with your image, like your logo or whatever, and you only people can join with a direct link, and you can give powers to these people like admins, and if the people can create tables, so these people can create a table only for your guild. Okay, I want to share this table only with my people, you know what I mean? But if they decide, for example, to put it outside, this table will always have your guild logo, so to people to know that this table is created from your guild to whomever. The most amazing thing is that the creator of the guild will choose the options for all tables. So all of them has to be LGTB plus spaces. All of them has to be, I don't know, 5 seats. All of them has to be cannot, for example, cannot use swearing words or whatever, and everyone will be forced to follow these rules.
yeah. So or it's like we only play 5th edition here, or we only play Star
Yes.
Trek or
Yeah.
something like that. This
Yeah.
is a Star Trek guild, so this is where
Yes.
we play that system. D20 systems or something like that, you know?
Yeah. For example. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, that's cool. That's very cool. I mean, and I guess the way I'm looking at it too is like if I'm a pro DM who's putting out content, got my stuff up on Patreon, right? And I want to run a game for people who are on my Patreon, let's just say, right? One of the safest ways in which to offer that might be through your app, because then one, I'm not going to get Patreon taking money away from me, but I can have people who are on my Patreon go over to the app and become part of my guild, and then I can offer it to those people.
Yeah. So, for example, I'm also a Patreon subscriber to some Spanish professional DMs, and one thing that happens is sometimes I'm late always to join tables because they don't do like one every day. That it's logic. The thing is, with Critical Match, you will also get notifications to your phone. Hey, your guild has created this table. Do you want to join? Does it fit
Nice.
what you like? And you can go fast there, join, you are in.
Nice. That's very cool.
What are some of the features that you're most excited for with this app?
So the chat, I think, is the most exciting thing for me. Is the
Oh.
chat. So every time you create a table with your players, it's a chat inside for each table. That means that you will not share your personal number, or for example, here in Europe, we usually use WhatsApp or Telegram, and you have to give your phone or your number or Discord or whatever. And as I said before, I love TTRPGs, and I like to play indie games. And I remember, and this is the first time I said we need something like Critical Match. I wanted to play Blades in the Dark. It's a dark
Ah,
system where you
yes.
build your guild, dark, very dark, and it's
Right.
amazing because it's
Mhm.
like a city simulator. You build your guild. I couldn't play. I couldn't find anyone, and at the end, I matched with two from New Zealand, one from the United States, and one from the United Kingdom. And we have to share WhatsApp because it was the only way to communicate with each other. And now I don't know. Some guys from New Zealand has my phone number. I mean, I never had a problem, but it would be better if
Right.
that was out of the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just like in Tinder. I mean, it's
Yeah,
better if no one has any number. Nobody has anyone's
absolutely.
contact after after interacting. No,
Yeah.
I'm
And
joking.
right now,
But
for the MVP, the chat will only be to share like words, but we hope in the future, because it takes a lot of space on the servers and the servers cost a lot of money,
Mhm.
we hope you can share like PDFs, images, audios, all these kind of things.
so I could potentially share, like, if my group wanted it, but I could share lore into the group chat of like, here's what's coming up, or here's a little background on where we're going to be playing, that kind of thing.
If you want it private for your group, so I mean, you
Mhm.
can always create. So there is one feature that is called the observer on Critical Match. So you can create a table that it's closed for your friends or games, and no one can. I mean, they can find it, but no one can join.
Mhm.
Or you can put public there. But you can also give the option to allow observers. An
Oh.
observer is a player who does not play but benefits from everything you share, not the chat, but everything you share on your table. So if you, for example, are a streamer and you have your streaming tables, you can create your table on Critical Match. People can observe you, and they get a notification on when the game is on which platform, and only with one click they go directly to where you are.
I could
But
see
not
that as a great Patreon feature for someone, they want to like give their followers an additional level of
Mhm.
involvement even if they can't play.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not the best thing.
Oh.
So again, there is another stretch goal that it's the journal, adventure journal, and each table creator can create inside of this table a journal where they can upload, for example, NPC images,
Mhm.
a synopsis of the game, handouts, whatever you need, and the observers will have access to that. This
Oh.
is something I pitched to my team the very first day because I'm a hard follower of Critical Role, but I mean, 3 4 hours every week I cannot.
Yeah.
I have a son. I work.
Yeah.
I cannot. So with this feature on Critical Match, if I observe their table, I can see what the last game they did,
Mm.
which NPC they found. If they level up, I can see their sheets. Or maybe I can see the last magic weapon they found that I've been heard of, but I couldn't find because I wasn't there. So with Critical Match, you will get all these updates.
That's really cool. That would be I totally see what you mean of just having access and getting that extra level of content and feeling like you're almost a player, but
It's like
not.
being
Yeah.
in the room as opposed to watching it on Twitch. It's just like where
Yeah.
everybody else is, you know? Like you're in the live audience. You're part of you're getting the handouts, you're getting the feeling of being there a little bit more intimately. And I like that. That's very, very cool.
It'd also be great research for anyone who's trying to create this stuff because we've spoken to some people. Monkey DM was a big one, and he was talking about just different ways that you can come up with ideas for content and getting to learn from other people who have made, whether it's the magic items, like you said, that they share with their players, getting to see the stat block on that, or monsters from like Cobalt Press. They could see all kinds of cool things that have been created and they get to actually then be like, "Ooh, I want to take that and bring that to my table."
Absolutely. There is amazing Kickstarters around there of new
Yeah.
weapons, magic weapons, or NPCs. And if I have my table and maybe I bought this Kickstarter and I use it on my table, someone can say, "Wow, I love this monster. Where it is? Oh, okay, you have to go this and buy this PDF or this
Mhm.
book and use it on your games."
Yeah.
That's cool. See this monster in action this week. Watch my stream, and then it's like if you want to buy the monster, get access to it after the stream. You can give me this
Yeah.
dollar. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you go
I
to
can see the
critical
whole funnel.
match.
Great.
You go to critical match, click the monster, and it will directly to where you can maybe found it.
Now I'm
Nice.
curious. I'm curious. Like, where are you guys at in development right now? Because like, can I go and download Critical Match and like it's starting to work? Or are you guys testing? Like, where are you at right now?
Yeah.
Sadly, nowhere, not yet. We are just now in a seeding process. We built a company here in Germany. We are 5 founders. Me, I'm the CEO. I'm more the business kind of guy. Then there is the graphic designer, UX UI, and there are 3 developers. What we need right now is the success of the Kickstarter. It's going to be the objective $22,000 only to start it up. Then we can start like paying people to build this and to work with us and all these kind of things. Like it's quite expensive.
Oh yeah,
Actually,
building an app is
22,000 doesn't sound that much.
Because it's the very very minimum. We didn't went for the stretch goals, or for
Gotcha.
example right now there is a 2D dice thrower per table where the observers and the players can see what you roll, and we hopefully this will be a 3D thing. But we say, okay, if we want it to the $22,000 to be realistic, we cannot afford this 3D.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're starting scrappy, and then you got the stretch goals based on what you guys make. That makes sense. That's pretty normal Kickstarter. Cool. And when is that gonna launch?
So it starts on the 20th of September with an amazing early bird, because as I talked before, there's going to be skins for your tables. So the way to personalize your tables, you can always choose the name, the synopsis, or whatever what it's about, or whatever you want to explain in your table. But also you can choose the image for everyone to see, and also the skin. This skin is like a layout on the table that makes your table different.
Sure.
So for the 48 first hours, anyone who help us on the Kickstarter, all backers, will get 2 animated skins. One is a red dragon that it breathes fires to your table, and the second one is called Eldritch Horror. And if you pay attention, you will see Cthulhu around there.
Nice.
Cool. I'm curious, like, for you, you're the CEO of this Critical Match. Have you always been an entrepreneur? Have you always been sort of like, I start my own businesses, get things going? Is that your spirit, or is this something that you just sort of stepped into recently because you see the opportunity?
Oh, I studied international business and marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And the first year after I graduated, I went to work in China. I was 1 year there. I speak a little bit of Chinese too.
Mm-hmm.
And after 1 year, I said, okay, that's enough. I want to try something different. And then when I went back to Barcelona, that's my hometown, I built a company that after 3 years it didn't launch as I expected. So I stop it. It's also smart to stop it when you can.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I always had this, like, trying to find opportunities, what to build. I always wanted to create something instead of just invest, for example. And this idea, I got it like almost a year now. And then I say, I have to try. I have to try. If I don't try, I will not forgive myself.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are.
And so you just started moving. Like, what were the first steps you had to kind of take to get this thing going and rolling as an entrepreneur? Because I mean, it sounds like you have had that entrepreneurial spirit since you were younger and going through school and everything. But like this year, you really stepped into this role of critical match. What were the first steps for you to start really making that happen? To go from idea to holy crap, we're launching a Kickstarter, we're going to make an app. I got a team. Like, how did that happen?
So first was talking with my wife.
You got to
So
get permission first, right? No.
yeah, to say, well, at least to say, okay, what do you think? Do you think it's
Right.
a good idea? Is it
Does
not?
she play?
Yes.
Okay,
Uh,
perfect. There we go.
yeah, she used to play with me. I used to be a DM, and she was used to be one of the players.
Cool.
So I first talk to her and say, you have a 40 hours or job.
Mhm.
Do you see yourself? And it was before, so my baby boy was born on February. So we
Oh,
already know that he's going to come and say, that is. So what I mean is that, so I first had to with my partner to see, okay, I'm going to do extra hours and I'm going to go far and beyond. Are we ready for that as a couple, as a family? She
nice.
said, let's go about it. And I went. So I do my research. It's a funny story how we start together, these five guys playing, so creating critical match. So I was doing my research. Okay, does something like this exist? And I found um, a PDF of someone who said this should be created, and here's why. And I say, wow, okay, this is exactly what I want to do. Why this is not created yet? And I talked with him. He is Hector from Argentina, and I say, hey, why is this is not a reality? Well, I'm a graphic designer. I don't know anything about business, about sales. Say, okay, I do. Let's work together. And he said,
Nice.
yes, let's do it. And then on Discord, in one of the Spanish groups of professional DMs and creators, uh, I was asking people, hey, what do you think about this idea? What would you like to see? And some guys say, hey, we are developing something similar. It's called rolling, but it's only for physical tables. Like you can find games in your town. I say, okay, let's talk. There were three guys and we were two. And we
Mhm.
came together. And instead of saying, nah, like they are, we want to fight, not just work together,
Mhm.
because they were developers, we saw the opportunity. Okay, there is three developers, one graphic designer, and one business.
That's
It's
perfect.
like the perfect team.
It
Yeah,
really
yeah.
is.
So we say, hey, instead of fighting each other, let's do something together. And the most amazing thing is that the very first meeting that we have just to present ourselves, we've ended building what is today critical match.
Mhm. Wow.
Wow. So
So
you fleshed it out in that first
Yeah.
sitting. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. We already have some ideas. They too. They say, okay, I don't think this. I don't like this. I don't like this other. Let's change. The name changed a lot until critical match. All this kind of stuff.
what's so interesting when you start a business too is there is a tendency to like, man, if you don't find the right people, it's hard to start a business, right? Like I've talked about this with Frank, and just like I've tried to start a podcast a number of times, but like I need that spirit warrior, that person who gets it. And the way I like to think about it, it's like we are aligned in terms of our values for what we see as the future of, say, nerdpreneur, and what it is and what the meaning behind it is and why it's important. Did you find that kind of alignment with your team? And if so, I'm curious, what are some of those core values that you guys landed on that really helps direct the progress that you're making?
So I so I think at the beginning, yes, we found that to each other. But the most important thing, at least I can speak by myself, is passion.
Mm.
We saw, at least I can say, I saw them like talking with a lot of passion. We can do that, and we can do that, and this might take long time on a lot of work, but we are going to do it,
Mm.
and we all work. So, and the first thing is, okay, how we're going to work it out, and say, okay, let's do this system, and we're going to work with agile and use tickets and this. So we do one meeting each week and another meeting every 2 weeks, and this is like sacred.
Yeah.
And since day one we've been doing that, and this is something that every time, so at the beginning you're always like, I'm not sure, okay, this is running, but there is nothing close, what will happen in the future? But as you see the people with passion working extra hours. We are talking on Telegram very, very late at night because someone, hey, I just finished job and I had this idea and I did these changes, whatever. This is something that for me right now that I know of it, it's essential for any team.
So
like regular meetings like that, where it's just like clockwork. We're meeting these times every single week. That way, you're always making progress. Is that what you mean?
No, I mean the passion
Oh, okay.
thing. So like people going so extra miles
Yeah.
in order to bring it up, because here everyone sacrifices something, because this is not so we are not making money, we are not being paid.
Mhm.
So everyone is sacrificing something. So that we see this, all of us working day after day, and of course the system that we have found that work for us, and it actually works. We actually, so at the beginning we changed some things until it worked 100% for every one of us, and then it's like a well-oiled machine.
Mhm.
it's I hear two main values that I think are really interesting and that I think anyone working on a team, because that is, I just want to point out that's something unique about you and your project and your team from the other people we've interviewed. Not a lot of people have had close knit teams that they work with. And I think that there's some interesting nuggets here. And one of the things you said about core values was the passion. And I think I want to extrapolate on that a little bit, that having that passion keeps everyone engaged. I mean, yes, of course, everyone's passionate about what they're doing, but the things you all agree on, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it sounds like if everybody's passionate about a feature, then it's going to happen. And you want to add the features that everyone is passionate about. Because if a majority of you aren't, then it's going to be kind of hard to get done. And other people may also not really care for it or be that passionate about it, like your customers. And then the second value I'm hearing is just taking this seriously. I mean, and this relies a lot on the first, to the passion, but the second is taking it seriously because you are respecting everybody else's time. You're respecting everybody else's work and commitment that they're putting into it. And so when you have both of those values working very directly with each other, that everyone's passionate about what they're making and everyone's taking it seriously, I think that is key for a small, scrappy team to put something together like this. And that's really cool.
Yeah. So no one is going to give you anything for free, and everything is. I mean, it's hard to do, to bring up a business. So you actually have to work it, and you
Yeah.
have to be there. And if you are a team, it's a little bit harder because you're, as you already say, some people might be not on board on some features, and then you have to see, okay, why it's only because he. I mean, he doesn't understand or he will not use it, but the majority does. So there is a lot of discussion
Yeah.
on everything.
Mhm.
But we also know our expertises. So if it's something from the development perspective, I will say, okay, I don't like it or I love it, but my opinion is not as valuable as the developer team.
Right.
I only give my business idea or point of view.
Right.
That's actually really interesting. It reminded me of, there was a video game studio, I think in France. I don't remember what games they did. I think it was Dead Cell, but that roguelite game. But it got really popular, and they were interviewed and talking about how they had all come from like a big company, maybe Ubisoft or something like that. But they had all left because they didn't like the hierarchy, so they wanted to give everybody a single vote, so everyone had an equal say. And if someone said, "Oh, I don't like that," even if they were in like the project management department and someone that was in the arts department made something and project management said, "I don't like that, just I don't think it looks good," then it made the artist have to defend what they were saying to convince the other person. And they said that that was good and bad because it made for really good content. I mean, that game did very well, but it also was a downside because people had to spend the time to convince others of their decisions. And it's kind of like, well, you're in a different department, you don't really know. So that's interesting that you guys are
Yeah,
aware of that, you took that into
yeah,
account.
yeah. Sometimes it's only with a conversation to say, okay, I get it, let's do it. But maybe you're very hard on your opinion, say, yeah, I know, but.
Hmm.
And at the end, with twisted things, you come into something that it's better.
And as the CEO of the company, my guess is there is somewhat of a role for you to be herding cats towards a general goal or a vision of things that I guess become like I guess the thing I would look at is if somebody is, say, a designer or a developer or something, like they have that frame where they're looking at things from that frame of being a developer and, say, the practicality of making that or whatever it is, right? Whereas, like, as a CEO, do you find you must have a different frame in which you look at this, from like the big picture of like, we're launching on these dates, these are the key things we need done for this, how are we going to make money with this, or be something where someone wants to invest in us or whatever it is, right? Like, do you find that there are challenges for you in that role, and what have you learned about being in that role, and managing people like that?
So one of the funny things is like sometimes, so we are all together in the same Telegram, and sometimes developers are talking and say, "Hey, let's put this feature on." Okay, it only costs whatever a month, and I say, wait.
Yeah.
I have to bring my Excel out, make my calculations. Can we
Yeah.
afford it right now?
Yeah.
Or maybe should be a stretch goal, or maybe should be a version 3
Mhm.
of
Right.
the app. And this is kind of what I do most of the day. Like, okay, wait a second, I have to. And then we discuss it. Okay, yeah, we know, but this would be very amazing because it help us this and this and this to do it. And then I say, okay, let me put it inside. And yeah, so it's different.
So your job's almost to rein in some of that passion, because their passion is driving them to do all this stuff, but you have to be like the naysayer sometimes of like, we love your passion, but practical. Like, we need
But
to get that.
yeah, but sometimes happens the other way around. I come with something amazing. Hey, we have to put this into the app, and they say, wait. You, you cannot. What do you mean 3D tunnel video? I mean,
Yeah.
how way do you want? Do you want it to be 80 gigabytes, the app? No. So it also
Huh.
happens.
That's funny. That's funny.
So you're kind of filling that or well, I should say this as a question. Are you filling the project manager role?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we all are doing different kind of roles. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, because from my little bit of experience with video games on the developing side, there's even on a small team, you might have a project manager, but if you don't, it'll be somebody else that just project manages the developers. That is
Yeah.
like head developer.
Yeah. So I'm actually, so if you put it like that, I'm the CEO and the project manager. I'm the product owner, and
Mm,
another guy is the managing developer. He's the scrum master,
right.
and so the other guy is the marketing manager, but also he's the social media designer. So I mean,
Cool.
again, we have 5 guys doing everything.
That's nice that you have that clearly laid out for the team. I find that when the responsibilities are clear, things move smoother typically.
Yeah.
So has anyone told you you're a little crazy to do this?
Yeah.
Can you
Absolutely.
can you tell me a little bit about, like, I mean, obviously it hasn't stopped yet, and that's great, and I think that, but yeah, do people think you're crazy for going after this, and how do you handle that sort of, I don't know, that naysaying that comes in sometimes?
Well, there is some like the friendly approach of some people. I say, hey, maybe you should focus on, like your job and growing up in your company and doing like, you have a child, don't risk it.
Mm,
uh, all this kind of stuff. And there is another people who say it will not succeed because it has tried before. I seen something on, I don't know, this platform that looks similar and it's already done. I don't know. I just love TTRPG and I think I want to find games to play Blades in the Dark. And I think Critical Match will help me. That's all.
Yeah. Well, and this is it. You're like the first user. You're like, if I would use this and it would help me get what I want, you're probably not alone in that. And I think that if you start hearing naysayers on the way to something, generally you're probably hitting on something good, because if it sounds a little crazy and people think you're crazy to go after that, or oh, that doesn't sound like it'll work, or oh, someone else has done it that way, all the things you're saying, I don't know, I feel like 100% of the people who have been successful have had those types of things thrown at them when they start something like this, because it requires a lot of work that is unpaid, and it requires a lot of passion that you have to find in yourself to get something off the ground from nothing. And there is probably a lot of sacrifice on all of your sides to like, because I'm assuming this is, you do have jobs or you have other things going on in your life, including family and all of that, and you're having to piece this together around those other important rocks in your life and say, this still has to happen, this still has to build every single week, regardless. So
Yeah, absolutely. We have every week we have an objective, so everyone has their own task for a week. Not
Nice.
only one, like several. You have like an amount of points you can use. This is called a Scrum system or Agile, and everyone has to do it. And on Thursday we meet. So sorry, not meet, but Thursday like our midday, mid day of the week for us. And if so, you can help another people to do their task if you have already done yours and it's Thursday. So okay, so we do a newsletter that I encourage everyone to subscribe to our newsletter, because you will get all this information and everything that is going to come later on the stretch goals on. So first for you, okay, this week I cannot write this newsletter, or I'm back, I don't know what to write, or please check it on Thursdays. People can say, hey, I have time, I can help you, send me a link or whatever, and then you work together. So yeah, we manage.
that's cool that you've already put in place sort of I say a scrum. You mentioned something called Scrum system. That's like an actual system of project management, correct? In terms
Mhm.
of how what you described there. So, I think a lot of companies, especially places that are involved in tech, use that
Yeah,
as a way to kind of keep projects
mostly.
moving and moving consistently forward. I'm curious, like, what advice would you give yourself if you look back when you started now? Would you have any advice for yourself about what to do differently, or um, what to focus on first, or anything like that?
Yeah, so if some of our listeners want to build a company in Germany, know that the bureaucracy, it's crazy.
Hmm.
It's
What do you mean?
crazy. What do I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, is there a lot of red tape to go through, or what are
Yeah,
some of the
so
struggles?
there is a lot of documentation to get through
Mm,
only in German. And even though I speak German, if you go to these technical writings, it's very hard.
yeah.
And here you pay taxes for everything.
Oof.
Everything. So get a tax advisor the very first day. I didn't get one until last week. So first get one,
Ooh.
because it will make your time much, much easier. But I mean, I usually the way I work is in these cases is do things in advance, like 2-3 weeks in advance, because I know it's going to be problems, and then you get these 2-3 weeks to solve it out.
Yeah, on that note, what are some of the hurdles that your team has come across with making this app?
So when you want to build a Kickstarter, there is always that question. Okay, should we do a Kickstarter or just develop it and launch it?
Mm,
Um, and at the beginning, we couldn't find an answer until after talking with each other. We say, okay, we need users the very first day. So if we do a Kickstarter and we give things to these users, we motivate them to be there the very first day, even though the app is not yet. So for the beta, this is one of the rewards that the backers will get. And then you will get all this feedback, and the day one launch, it's going to be already hopefully a few thousand people there. So we thought that the best opportunity was a Kickstarter. And then the other struggle is, and so, I mean, doing a Kickstarter is a very hard thing. I mean, you
yeah.
have to. We have never done something similar, none of us. So I did a lot of research, my team did too, and we come together, I think, with a quite amazing one. So that was one of the hardest at the beginning, and then developing it's also quite hard.
Yeah.
Well, right now it sounds to me like, yeah, you're agree. Like you're essentially building a platform, right? And
Mhm.
if you win the platform game in business, then that's like you're playing a game that is much bigger in that realm. And I think that that's what's exciting. And one of the reasons I think that we decided, like, I was like, Frank, we should talk to this guy because I think that what you're pursuing is probably a bigger deal than people really know right now. Because if it's successful, and when it's successful, I'm going to bank on you here, but when it's successful, it would, in theory, dominate the entire industry in terms of functionality. Like the idea of building an app where I can find any game I want, find the people locally, or get all these things, and then also have all these extras that you're talking about that allow me to manage a community or manage my thing. Like there's nothing like that in existence right now. And if you succeed in creating something that really does that transformation for people, there's no doubt in my mind that this will take over a huge part of the industry and have massive power in some ways in the 5e or tabletop RPG area. And I think that playing that game at a different level is pretty darn exciting. So I would love to see you guys obviously
Hopefully, yeah,
succeed in this,
hopefully,
right?
yeah. So we have already a 5 years plan. So hopefully it actually works good, and then we can develop everything that is has to come.
That actually touches on one of the questions. I had another question, but I really want to that's a perfect segue into what is the plan after the success of this app? Where do you plan to take it that you guys are willing to share at this point?
So at the beginning depends a lot on the stretch goals. So
Mm,
the stretch goals are there because if we reach certain milestones, then we can hire people to help us and hire more space on the servers, all this kind of stuff to build much bigger of an app. In the future, we hopefully it becomes the platform to go in order to promote your professional DMs, because I don't know, I think in United States it's quite common to have a professional dungeon master, but for example in Europe it's not that common. And if you go to Spain, people doesn't not like, but they don't know exactly, okay, if I pay for a DM, what do I get?
sure.
Yeah.
My friend is DMing a game for me, what's the difference?
Right.
And we hopefully will promote professional DMs in all kind of ways.
Yeah.
So there is one reward that you can create your own skin for your
Mhm.
tables.
Mhm.
And we so if you're a professional DM, you can create your own skin with our graphic designer, and everyone will see your table with your skin, so they will
Mm.
know it's yours. And also we want to do live events with professional DMs and promote and um, help them to reach their audience. We think this is going to be one of the future features of the app, to help these professional DMs. But another thing we hope to bring is, with once we have everything built, this first, so depends on the stretch goal, but if not the first 2 years, with the adventure journal guilds, we hopefully can talk with big companies, Wizards of the Coast, for example.
Mhm.
And imagine you are creating a Lost Mine of Fandelver kind of game. Everyone, I think, who
Yeah.
plays D&D has played this adventure. We would love to talk with of the coast, okay, and say, okay, what if we create a skin and the adventure journal already done with all the handouts, all the images, all the PDFs that you need, everything on the app. So when you create a Lost Mine of Fandelver game, it's already everything there. And maybe in the future this is like a marketplace and people can promote their games or their adventures. Okay, I have this adventure, it's already everything built for you and your followers. So if you do a stream, don't just pay this, you already have everything. And one of the things of the adventure journal, and you can choose when to share one small space of the adventure journal.
Mm.
So the adventure journal is going to be like, you can create like like a WordPress. Okay, here I want a scroll, here images, here I want a link to this website, here I want blah blah blah.
Oh,
And you can choose each one of those if you want to share to your server or not.
cool. Yeah, getting involved with those larger companies. I mean, Wizards of the Coast is an obvious great company to go for. They already make a lot of what you're talking about for D&D Beyond when they release on that.
Yeah. So if you had a D&D Beyond integration or something, that
For
would be kind of
example,
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right now you mentioned something I think that everybody should be aware of is the newsletter. My hallucination of this is that you guys are collecting email addresses. You need to get as many as you can so that when this Kickstarter kicks off, you have some critical mass of people who can come in and support. But also, those people who get on that newsletter will probably be the first ones to get access to the actual app and all those other things. Give a little plug for your newsletter right now. Like, what is a good reason for people to go sign up for your newsletter?
So first, you will see everything we do on the background. So we talk of the last development, the struggles, what's going on with the team. But they are going to be the first ones to be remembered that Kickstarter is live, and not only don't miss the early bird with these two animated skins, but only there is one reward that it's limited. The biggest reward will give you access to play with us, with the founders, and a professional dungeon master online.
Oh, wow.
But also, um, if you are willing to come to Spain, we are going to do a game in a 15th century castle with live animation, and we're going to have a dinner in also, I think it's 13th century bodega, like a
Wow.
restaurant.
Wow.
And this is limited of seats,
Yeah,
but
that sounds
I
very
mean,
cool. I'm just saying, like, all right, you may have noticed we had D&D in a castle on here, and I feel like I just have to go to Europe to play somewhere because
Yeah,
you
right.
guys are all like, you know what's so cool? Well, we get to play in castles or in like 13th century places made of stone, whereas like in Canada, we're like, we get to play at a picnic table outside. Like it's
Yeah.
just not the same level. Like we get to play at a Walgreens, like it just isn't. There's just not that same level of history and like authenticity behind it. I feel like Europe is just this emerging, budding market for live D&D events that we just don't even know yet. I think that's going to be so cool.
they cost a lot of money to maintain, so they allow us to play with them. So
Yeah, exactly right. Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, I've heard that it's a bit like a resort over there. The castles very often get turned into these hotels with really great restaurants inside, and because they're usually in beautiful areas.
yeah. I might say depends on the country. For example, here in Germany, no way,
Oh,
no way. I mean, they are very like how to say, like this is for the citizens only. It's not
Mhm.
way to privatize it.
Yeah, it's like a
okay.
In
park,
Spain,
right?
it's a little bit mixing, and in the UK, there is a lot of they are private.
All right. Yeah, that's where D&D in a castle typically goes. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's what I
It
was
makes
thinking.
sense.
Yeah.
In order for us to have access, this castle is owned by the Navarra um, City Hall, and you have to ask for permission to the highest ranks of Navarra. So the
Oh, wow.
president of Navarra has to give you like the okay, because 15th century castle, and you are very limited of what you can do. But
No keggers there, I guess. Like,
no, but to play RPG games, you only need like a paper and a pen. So we are
yeah,
good on there.
No fireworks.
yeah.
No fireworks inside the castle, but outside you can do whatever you want.
Wow, that's so cool. Like, I am curious because you guys work pretty hard. You must experience a little bit of stress, a little bit of burnout, a little bit of fatigue sometimes. How do you deal with that when it comes up?
Mm. So there is always up and downs in any company, and when you are building something more because it's your baby. The good thing is that we are five different guys. So one is in Argentina, 3 of them are in Spain, between Murcia, sun coast, and the other one is in Madrid, and I'm in Germany. So when someone is out, there is always the rest. Okay, don't worry about that. We're going to do this, and or sometimes some of them, hey guys, this week I cannot do this because I'm overwhelmed with my job. Don't worry, we take care of it next week. You are up again. So, I mean, I don't know. We just help each other, I think.
Well, having that team does make it like that's what's so different about your companies. You have a team versus a lot of the people you interview are solopreneurs, right? And so they just are like dealing with that stress on their own, or they have to, they have a partner or someone else that they kind
Yeah.
of, do this with. You guys have the 5 of you to kind of keep supported, and that's really cool. Like if you have, 4 or 5 legs of a stool, that stool's more stable than that
Yeah.
one-legged stool that's trying to balance. You're trying to balance on. So that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
That's a nice analogy. Now I've got this idea of someone trying to sit on a one-legged stool. It works if your feet are always on the ground, but
It's hard to do. It is. I mean, and 5-legged stools, I mean, we should start making them
yeah,
because they're more stable.
no,
No.
yeah. I actually wanted to bring up a kind of a question. I'm sure your team has thought about this, but a little bit of backstory real quick. About 5 years ago, I had a very similar idea to what you guys are building right now. And I worked at Wizards of the Coast for a little bit, and I thought about pitching to them. But I ultimately decided not to do that. And I didn't have the team of developers and the people I talked to. It didn't really pan out. So one of the ideas that I really was excited about that you haven't talked about yet is profiles and leveling up. So the idea of the DMs, the dungeon masters are game masters. The more games they play, or based on the reviews they get, they level up a bit. And what have you guys thought about in that way?
So there is one stretch goal. I think it was a stretch goal. I cannot remember right now. I think we changed it, like for the version 1 of the app or the version 2. So right now we just want for you to be fast creating your profile. So you go inside whatever, but later you will choose like a Rosetta Stone. Like you will choose. I'm more murder hobo. I like more investigation. I like more role playing, like silly voices. Uh, and then it's built this image like a Rosetta thing, like a graph on your profile. And so and when people see your profile, we'll check this and we'll know more or less. So what do you like, no? But the approach we have right now is through achievements. So
Achievements, cool.
yeah. So the thing is, like, for example, you're looking for a professional DM and you want someone to play Dungeons and Dragons, and you go inside a table, and the creator of the table has the achievement Dragon Slayer has created more than 500 Dungeons and Dragons tables. I mean, you can be pretty assured that this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
uh, so we have these achievements for the games you play, horror kind of games, all this kind of stuff. But also when you play a game, you get rewards by your fellow players. So once per table, uh, people can give you like a reward. So it's a good team player. It's the best healer. It's a tactician. He, for example, for a DM, he has our background stories always in mind. He improvises very well, and all these kind of rewards will be translated into achievements.
Nice. There's
Is
two.
there a murder hobo? This guy murders NPCs.
Like crazy,
Award.
yeah. Yeah. It's going to be.
Don't bring any of your favorite NPCs around this guy or
Yes.
girl.
There's two ways I could see that going, and I'm curious if one of them is more accurate than the other. So the first one that comes to mind is I play Heroes of the Storm. I'm surprised that I know the game's still around, but at the end, 5 people will be selected out of the 10 players, and they will get acknowledged for, did the most siege damage, did the best heals, or whatever. And then they can get upvoted by the other players. So there's that one. And it's kind of the game picks those achievements for you based on your damage. But in this case, the dungeon master would choose. So the dungeon master would call out, I want to acknowledge, each person, afterwards, not in the game necessarily, but maybe afterwards they give that achievement that you're talking about. And then everybody else might have a chance to upvote some of the players. But they can't upvote themselves, of course. And then the other option that came to mind was how LinkedIn does it. LinkedIn allows you to kind of give kudos. They don't call it that, but you can like say, hey, I worked with Chris on another project or at the last company I worked at, and he's super great at like project management, creative, audio editing, and stuff like that. So is the idea, the vision that you have, is it one of those sort of?
A mix, because if you are a free tier, you will have like LinkedIn kind of style. So when you play with people, I get always positive. The people can give you, okay, this is like it's a good player, always on times, always brings beer, popcorn to the table for physical tables too. All these kind of achievement that it's okay, it's good enough, and I will tell you something later that helps with the achievements. But if you're a subscriber, in the not right now, but in maybe the first or the second version, we want, so you will have extra reward options.
Cool.
And these reward extra can be linked to the game you're playing, to the system you're playing.
Neat. That's really interesting. I'm sold, man. That was the kind of thing that got me really excited. And there's other, like you said, there's other programs out there. They're not apps, they're not mobile apps that I've seen, but other things that try to match you up with a table, and they didn't really have that reward built-in system for me, and it was also hard for me to actually get anyone to come to my table.
Yeah. So another thing so the achievement is not only for that, but also when you create a table, we will help you to find the best players. And how it works. So, for example, if you choose beginners friendly, that means that we skip that, and first come first gets to your table. You always will have on your table like a queue of people who wants to join. So if someone misses, you can go to the next. Hey guy, so are you up for this Thursday because one missed? Yeah, okay, whatever.
Just like Tinder.
Again, yeah.
You gotta have a backbench. No, I'm joking.
But also, if it's not beginners friendly and you actually want the best players, if you are creating our horror game, these guys who has played the most hashtag with horror or has the most achievement with something of horror or maybe investigation or whatever will go up to the key.
Cool.
Interesting.
It really is kind of like Tinder. Like you're going to get certain people who get shown more because they are getting more yes swipes in general. Like there's actual ways, like they have their own algorithm in there, right? Where it is sort of a winner take all kind of thing where they get exposed to more people than others and all that kind of stuff. So if anyone actually wants real Tinder tips, go to our AMA on Patreon because I actually do have like that whole thing dialed. Don't use it anymore, but I had it friggin' dialed. Okay. So, but I think that's really interesting because if you have the ability as a dungeon master, because we're not dealing, we're dealing with games. We want to find people who are high quality at the thing. Like, for example, horror. That's a very specific genre of game that maybe not every DM is good at. One might be really good at, having fun, silly voices, role playing, and all that kind of stuff. Whereas another game, I want to feel scared or I want to be like going through a horror genre, and that person is great at creating atmosphere. So if I want to look for that specific thing in a game, I can now see and be like, oh wow, like Frank has all these achievements in horror. He's probably really good, and I'm going to be more excited to play that game and more likely to go to that person. So, I think that's a really cool feature for me to be able to look for the exact kind of game that I want and know that this person is going to be able to deliver on it. So if you had 1 million followers, what advice would you give them?
I mean, in social media, you mean, no?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you had 1 million followers and your advice was, if you had any advice for them, what would you say to those 1 million followers, other than sign up for Critical Match?
I don't know. Have fun. Have fun. Enjoy life.
Yeah, it's pretty much like at that point, what else can you say responsibly? You know what I mean, to a million followers, other than like enjoy your
No,
life.
but
Yeah.
no, but I actually mean it. So one thing. So now I'm a recent father, and people say, okay, what do you want him to be in the future, or like what kind of career do you want him to? I don't care as long as he's happy and has fun. Just enjoy life. I will be there to help him whatever he chooses, as long as he's happy.
So you're not going to force him to be a professional dungeon master, is what you're saying.
Don't think so. I mean, I'm going to be professional nerd,
Yeah.
uh, and he wants to be. His mother is a scientist,
Yeah.
and I'm more kind of business. So he has all the
Nice. Yeah, that's a good just kind of reference of
yeah,
backgrounds to pull from.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, let's go ahead and transition. I mean, so the next section here we're going to start off is the random rolls. So you're going to roll a D100 and we're going to go through it a couple times. And based on your roll, we'll ask you some silly questions. They're more silly, a little less serious. And then after that, we'll do rapid fire. So do you have a D100 handy?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. 88
What makes a great friendship stronger?
living struggles together.
Nice. Nice. Struggles. I like that.
Have you had some times, I guess, with the group that you're in right now, where there's been some struggles, but it's brought you all closer together because of that?
We had some experience right now that we thought that all the project was going to go through the rubbish.
Oh no.
Oh, man.
And we moved past it, and we are right now more excited for it.
Good.
Once you go through something, obviously, yeah, it can do two things. It can drive people apart or bring them together. And if it brings people together, I agree. Like you're going to wind up having a stronger bond or a stronger relationship, and all those things. And that goes for anyone that I think you're with. But with a team of people that you're building something with. I think that's why they do those sort of extreme team building things where you're like going through rope courses together or jumping off planes together or doing that kind of thing, because it does unify you when you're like, holy crap, we all just did that.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's seeing each other's true colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll again.
Roll
Another
again.
one. Do another
Yeah,
one.
do a couple of these.
15.
Do you guys have like what would be the best Halloween costume you've ever worn?
I like Halloween.
You don't do Halloween.
You and me both.
Okay.
See, clearly I'm the one who added that question to our D100s. I like Halloween.
Well, okay.
I mean, I like it, but I don't like to dress up. I like to do silly voices, but not dress up.
Not dress up.
All right, that's an interesting question on that vein. What is a character voice that you enjoy doing? That might be kind of your default that you go to.
Dwarf.
Yes.
Because I have a very low voice and I have the beard, so it actually matches most of the time.
That's great.
I feel like if I gave you an axe, you would 100% turn into a dwarf very quickly.
But the most amazing thing, because I like to play online games and usually one shots with people from all around the world, so usually it's in English. And most of people ask me, you're from Spain. Okay, can you say, my name is Íñigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die, with your accent?
Yeah, how often does that come up, right? Of course.
Yeah, almost every game.
Because it's very much it's the Barcelona specific accent too. It's not even just a Spanish one, it's that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is a very iconic character. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the episode, we'll get you to do that for us, and then we'll
He just
sign
did.
off. No.
He just did. All right.
Again?
Let's go ahead and roll another one.
Yeah. 21.
21. If you were in charge of communicating with an alien species for the first time, how would you go about it?
I will try music. Like, this movie, how it's in English? Encuentros en la primera fase for our speaking Spanish listeners. You know this movie where they used the very old one.
I know that.
Yes.
God, what is that? It's
Close
not
Encounters
It's
of
Contact.
the
not
Third
Space
Kind.
Odyssey. It's not Space Odyssey, is it?
Close Encounters of the Third
Yes.
Kind,
Close Encounters.
1977.
Yes, that's it. That's a Spielberg movie, actually, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a very long time.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch that.
It was a good alien movie, though. Like, for its time, it was super, super well done.
I mean, not all aliens speak Spanish like in the movies. Sorry, English. and invade the United States. Not all of them do that.
I really like that answer. I just wanted to say, I mean, music even among humans, music is such a great communicator, and it transcends into a part of our brain that is it's deeper. It's deeper than just our language processing.
A language everyone understands.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That is cool. And I guess I've been told it activates different parts of the brain. So maybe that would allow people to open up to communication. Very cool. Do we want to do one more just in case?
Yeah, last one.
Okay. 32.
All right. Other than a DeLorean, what vehicle would you turn into a time travel machine?
Oh, my Fiat Punto.
Your Fiat. So that's the most European answer.
So I used to have a Fiat Punto. It was the very first car I bought with my own money. It cost like, I don't know, 10,000 euros. Like right now is almost like $10,000. So I used it for 10 years.
Whoa.
And still kicking, I think, because I bought it for I sell it for 700 euros. And I think on my hometowns, my fathers sometimes see it. So, I mean, you want something resilient, and my Fiat Punto was very resilient.
That's a great point. You would want a machine that is reliable when you travel through time. You don't want it breaking down in the prehistoric era.
No, definitely not.
No. With a small stone, cannot go forward. Like, no.
That's awesome. And you want something fast enough to run away from a velociraptor. So,
yeah, maybe the Fiat Punto is not the best one for that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I never think of a Fiat as like a muscle car.
But it's small enough to get around corners and stuff too. It's very,
Yeah.
It's compact. I like that. All right, let's do some rapid fire. And for these are just quick answers, one word. We don't have to go too deep on it. All right, Yoda or Obi-Wan?
Yoda.
Nice. Favorite fiction book?
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn.
Oh, I haven't read that.
That's a movie too, right?
I think so, but read the book first.
Yeah,
Okay,
the book is much better. If you could fly or turn invisible, which would you choose?
Turn invisible.
Okay.
Huh. Okay, hold on. How come?
And spy my competence. No.
That's how he knows the project's getting done.
No, like disappear sometimes, enjoy time, like no one knows where you are and you can just travel around and no one bothers you.
I love that. I mean, you're also a new father. So I imagine that a lot of that ties into, I really just want some alone time, please.
just some time where it's quiet. No one knows where I'm at. I can get away.
I don't think that's what most people think of when they think of someone wants to be able to turn invisible so they can go and like steal stuff, right? No, you want to just get away.
Yeah, when my child is looking for me, where is Daddy? I don't know.
I can't find him, sweetie.
I cannot find him. Go bother your mother.
All right. What's 3 favorite pizza toppings?
Pepperoni, cheese, and cheese.
Extra cheese.
Yes.
Would you ever do corn on pizza?
I mean, I like it, but not like favorite.
Okay. Because that's something like it just doesn't exist in America, and I have heard that corn on pizza is like a European thing. So
yeah, sometimes,
sometimes. All right,
broccoli too.
Broccoli?
Yeah,
broccoli's not bad. I mean, I enjoy broccoli on pizza if it's done right. I don't always do it right though.
Yeah, but why order a pizza with broccoli? I mean,
I
there is
know. It's
1,000 options.
Vegetables? I want vegetables, man. It's my salad.
Yes, the pizza.
it's just like they're the only place actually that I ever saw do broccoli on pizza was in Toronto in Little Italy. And there's a place that called their pizza the Pollo Loco, which is Spanish, right? But the crazy chicken, and it had broccoli and chicken on their pizza. So, and I think it also has pineapple.
Oh no, that does not sound good to me.
What's the best munchie?
What is a munchie?
Like snack food. What's the best snack food?
Ah, uh, how's in English? Frutos secos. Aish, I forgot the name in nuts.
Nuts.
Like nuts.
Nuts.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Like almonds and like macadamia nut, that kind of thing, or a
Yeah,
specific nut.
there is usually I bought a bucket of nuts with paprika and salt and
Oh yeah, getting some spice on there.
a little bit there. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Now, on a different vein, DC or Marvel?
Oh, Marvel.
Yeah. Now, is that because of the movies or did you read
Yeah,
comics?
sorry.
That's
No,
okay.
because yeah. So I know this is more like dark and realistic.
I feel like it's a little more emo, but that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, but also more realistic. Marvel usually, I mean, lately is like really,
Yeah.
but has a lot of background.
That's funny because often people say Marvel is more based in reality because they're actually in real cities most of the time. And DC is this like parallel Earth with, Metropolis and Gotham and Star City. So that's interesting. It's very much the movies very much have taken that turn.
I think so. Yeah.
It's like a
I have-
fantasy sci-fi.
I feel like
Yeah.
people when they say, DC is more real, they're just meaning like it's like darker and more emotional
Gritty.
and more gritty, and like it's
Yeah.
like the dark version of it. And I think that just is like, oh, people feel like things that are dark and gritty are more real. But is that, I don't
Yeah,
know if that's
maybe.
actually the case, or not. Fireball or lightning bolt?
Fireball. Destroy everything.
Classic. Have you read the Harry Potter books?
Yeah.
What Hogwarts house would you be in?
Okay, here I have some. I know this is fire questions, but recently, yesterday, because of the upcoming Hogwarts Legacy game of
Right?
February.
Right?
Okay, so I did the thing because they say, okay, if you join with your fan Harry Potter club and to the game, you will get special perks, and I'm going to play 100% the game. So I did that, and because I did the first time 15 years ago,
Yeah.
which house are you in? So I love Slytherin. I'm Slytherin 100%.
It's your business brain, your business background. I get it. Me too.
Slytherin is the best one. Draco Malfoy was a misunderstood guy.
Yeah. Yeah, his parents were tough on him. Totally.
And
Yeah.
Slytherin get things done. This has been a theme among business owners. Are the CEOs are Slytherin? They're like, we just get it done. We make things happen. We have a plan, and we check it off one after the other. Like, say what you will about their intentions, they were systematic.
Yeah, so I'm Slytherin at heart, and I did this. I answered the website questions to know which house, and I tried it to be Slytherin, and it gave me Gryffindor, and I say, damn it. So I'm Slytherin in mind, Gryffindor at heart, maybe.
Interesting.
Your
Yeah.
Slytherin mind was like, wait, how can I game the system so that it comes out the way I want it to?
Yeah,
and then when it
It's
doesn't
like-
succeed, you go back and do it again, and you're like, hold on, let me figure it out. That's so
You
Slytherin.
cannot in the now Harry Potter fan club.
Because that's what Harry Potter did. It said Slytherin, but he really wanted Gryffindor, so it gave him what he really wanted. But for you, it didn't. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Because Slytherins need ambition. They need they need to be
No.
held back a little bit at first, just so that they can overcome.
Then my wife tries. She's a scientist, and absolutely, she got Ravenclaw. I mean,
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
of course.
Yes.
I actually, Ravenclaw is the one I would be in, but my partner, she always says I'm Slytherin because of business.
So how many chickens would it take to kill an elephant?
Okay, all of them.
Like every chicken in the world?
Every chicken in the world, just throw it to an elephant, like bees. You know how bees kills bigger prey? Like they
Swarm.
exhaust them. Yeah, put them. So get all the chickens and just suffocate the elephant.
And if you were to spontaneously learn any skill at once, but you got to choose it, what would it be?
Fall asleep instantaneously.
Really, you'd want to be able to fall asleep instantly.
Keep running a business long enough, you'll find out.
I need it because my baby boy sometimes gets like 10 minutes sleeps, and I would love to be okay. Me too.
Yeah, right.
Instantly.
That's good.
Planet of the Apes or Dawn of the Dead?
Planet of the Apes.
Nice. All right, and you haven't asked your question, Frank. Ask it.
I know. I'll go ahead. Star Trek or Star Wars?
Ooh. So like,
You have to pick.
can I say Dune?
Yes, you can. 100%. You can say Dune.
Listen,
That is a very acceptable answer.
You can't game the system. There is no third option. This isn't like a Kirk maneuver. There's God damn it.
Star Wars, I will say then.
Okay. All right. And what is it about Star Wars that you're a fan of?
I think the magic approach of the Force, because I always like these magic kind of things. So Star Wars, I think, is much more fantasy, and Star Trek is science fiction.
Right.
And I like more fantasy.
How many cats is too many cats?
One.
Thank you. I agree with that.
I'm a dog person.
Yeah, same here.
Yep.
All right, Borja, where can people find you, help you, support you, and learn more about the upcoming Kickstarter if they want to support or get the early beta versions of these of the app when it gets out?
So they can go to criticalmatch.app app, and there they can watch our video of the upcoming Kickstarter, go to the Kickstarter and follow the Kickstarter, so when it launches, they will receive an email. Also, we are going to send you a newsletter if you subscribe, for you don't to miss either the early bird or the opportunity to play with the team.
That's awesome. I'm very excited. I mean, talking with you about all of this has definitely, I was already interested, and it was just great getting to hear all this, because now I'm really excited to support you guys on Kickstarter when it comes out. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about your nerdy passion and your nerdpreneur business. And as always, everybody, keep it nerdy.
Keep it nerdy. Keep it nerdy. Keep it real.
Thank you for listening to Nerdpreneur. Be sure to subscribe wherever you found us and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Every review helps our show grow. You can follow and chat with us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Nerdpreneur Podcast. Nerdpreneur is a labor of passion, and Chris and I would love to keep this thing going. So if you want us to continue making content, you can support us by going to patreon.com/nerdpreneur and become a member of the board. Members of the board get shoutouts, they can submit rapid fire questions, they get behind the scenes peeks, and we record super fun and valuable content exclusive to our board members. We love all of you nerds. Keep it nerdy.
Nerdpreneur, you know I love my work. Life's a game, so I'ma take my turn. Nerds deserve to put the passion first, so let them rap a verse so they can all be heard.